start this conversation, I think that I would like to ask Gay Jun to put the first question to me, because it's a dialogue. It's not just. So, do you have any question to me?
A lot of questions, indeed. Certainly, we are in a very difficult situation globally these days. We are talking about COVID-19 and the difficulties of the businesses facing. And what is the status quo of the small and medium enterprises in Europe during this pandemic? Can you talk a little bit about the situation there in Europe for those small and medium enterprises?
Well, coronavirus has been a dramatic shock for European SMEs. It's the typical black swan. They didn't expect. It came out unexpectedly. They were totally unprepared. It's not like the Japanese that are always prepared for the next earthquake. The Europeans were not prepared at all. Despite the fact that in the scientific world there were indications that new pandemics could come up after the mad cow, after all the swine flu, and the number of other SARS and so on. So they were, because people don't look to the long run. That's in Europe. So that's and the mindset of people has changed. Has changed in the first place because there was a dominant thinking that the state should be out of the market economy.
Right.
Now, with the pandemics, everybody is asking government, the public sector, to take action, to help, to get involved in the economy, to nationalize enterprises even. So that's the European Union has suspended all the antitrust legislation on state aid. Now states can help enterprises at every level, and that is a major change in the mindset. The second big change is that now people look at globalization and China in a different way. Suddenly, Europeans discovered how much they are dependent from China. When we are talking, they were talking about individual protection, like masks, individual protection devices. They discovered that they were all produced in Asia. No European producers. So that has been a shock. For instance, 3/4 of blood thinners in Italy were imported from China. So that forced people to rethink globalization and global value chains, and there has been a strong call for reshoring. Reshoring is not a new concept, but has been strengthened by the coronavirus. Then there have been some industries like tourism and travel that have been the most severely hit by the coronavirus. But other sectors have been flourishing. ICT companies, pharmaceutical companies, medical devices companies have been flourishing. And there has been, and last but not least important, the silver lining of this pandemics is that we have seen everywhere a massive rush to digitalization. So for many, with the Industry 4.0 and other initiatives, Europe and European countries were trying to encourage, particularly SMEs, to engage into digitalization, and they were making a small progress. Suddenly, massive progress into digitalization, thanks to coronavirus. So in that sense, there has been even old people who were more reluctant to engage into digitalization and became digitalized, so to say. In that sense, so this I see the main changes in the mindset of SMEs throughout Europe.
Mm. Thank you. That's a very good observations, and good to know that digitalization is also happening and accelerating, under the pandemic. And certainly, I think in terms of globalization, people have to now think a little differently, whether countries should be reassured for certain things that they have supply if this situation happens in the future again, right? And definitely, I think same is happening in China. Say for example, for TOJOY, we have a lot of millions of entrepreneurs actually working with us but in the past, they were all offline. Entrepreneurs feel that there's no need to go digital, but with the pandemic now, everybody, has to be online. And the good news is that, TOJOY, now the online platform has amassed 700,000 entrepreneurs online. And then that enables us to actually promote business online and doing business online and cut a lot of costs in the middle. Because in the past, when we want to have a big promotional event, you have to rent a hotel rooms and, do all the planning, and the cost is almost 10x of what we are now doing online. And then in terms of people participating, in the past, if you have an offline conference, the most probably you can get 2,000, 3,000 entrepreneurs joining. And usually it's like 1,000. But now we can easily have more than 10,000 entrepreneurs joining an online event where TOJOY usually have on a weekly basis. So after the pandemic happened, we moved all the business online. Now we are doing a weekly, online project promotions. And the average, we have more than 10,000 Chinese entrepreneurs joining. And that generates a lot of business leads and a lot of opportunities. So, so that's the upside of the pandemic. It's not all downside. There are some upsides as well.
Of course. And you reach more people at the lower cost.
Yes.
And that is fantastic.